Welcome to Rom Wills Money Matters. Businesses in niche markets. Businesses in niche markets. And I've been talking about money management, but I'm also big on men and women for starting businesses out here. And really, I'm going to tell you what, when you talk about small businesses, especially, that's where most businesses are started. The overwhelming majority of people work for either small businesses or for themselves. The overwhelming majority. I would say the number I saw for people working like major corporations at most, I'm saying at most, is 20%. At most. That's one number I saw. At most. But most people are going to work for themselves. Now, if you're starting a business, I've talked before about population and, demographics and everything. And it's very important if you're looking at a niche market. What's a niche market? Specific businesses catering to a specific crowd. Like, I tell you what, I've said before, I go to a local comic book store. In fact, the day I'm recording, I'll probably stop by a comic book store today, see if they have my stuff. And the thing is, that's a niche market right there. It could be something like yoga, okay? Like, that's a very niche market right there. Like, a lot of people taking yoga, but there's still a niche market. Everybody's not taking it. So somebody say you have a yoga teacher and they rent out a space somewhere and they advertise that they're teaching yoga classes. That's a niche market. There's so many examples of it because I'm going to tell you what, when we're talking about recessions, depressions, that's usually talking about the bigger corporate businesses. They're not making their money. Their stocks are going down and everything. But depending on the niche market that you're in, you can stay in business forever. I mean, shoot, because you're not, like, I remember a guy, it was at one of the flea markets. It was at the flea market I had my book stand at. And he was just selling oils and stuff, nice oils to put on you. And that's a niche market right there. And, he had people coming in because that was a perfect market for him because people were going to run out. Once they started using the oils, they like it, they come back. In fact, another niche market was black bookstores, I mean, you don't have, if you go into any major store, they might have a small section depending on where they located. But that's still a small market. That's a niche market right there, specifically black books. Or if somebody have books that's just catering to the alphabet community. And when I say alphabet community, I mean LBGTQ. There's so many letters added on, no disrespect to them. But that's a niche market. But talking about black bookstores, I remember talking with a black bookstore owner. He had a store back in the day, and he said, you just need 100 customers. See, one thing about a niche market, yes, you got a small group, but you also got people specifically looking for whatever you're selling, looking for it. Like I've talked about subcultures and everything. If you're selling books to primarily a subculture, you can make money, but you have to really, like you do with any demographic, you really have to look at the market. Okay, who are you dealing with? Who are you dealing with? How they going to buy stuff, what they looking for, your location, everything. But I would be real, I would say you can, as long as you have return customers, you can make money. Like you got a lot of people making a fortune off of a platform like Patreon. Now, they could have a few hundred people, they could have a few thousand. But when you compare that to 8 billion people in the world, that's very small. But depending on what price you selling your memberships, you can make a lot of money. There's some people making a lot of money depending, or, small, or maybe they selling certain types of jewelry. In fact, if you look at a lot of successful businesses, they might not, like small businesses or solopreneurs or LLCs, and everything. Real small one-person businesses, they might be making a lot of money, but if you look at the actual numbers of people actually like using their business services or their products, is actually very small. That's a niche market, Because one thing about niche markets is people, whatever the niche is, it could be food, it could be services, products, whatever. People are looking at that. There's people interested. And no matter how small it is, and people could be interested in that, Or, because people have hobbies. It could be like a hobbies and everything. You could have a hobby shop. You could have a hobby shop. You're not going to get that many people. But boom, you're going to make a lot of money. Shoot, sometimes it could even be something where it's one of those places where you have high-end clothes. I remember in the DC area, well, right outside of DC years ago, I don't know if it's still there, but it was a Versace shop, Versace. And I would walk past there going to a particular gym right there. Sometimes people would never be in there. And I questioned somebody who was working at the gym who was familiar with the shop. She said rather, that people would, they might get like a couple customers a day, but those couple customers would spend several $1,000s, even to the point they would have somebody whose job was to go get that person lunch. But that's a niche market right there. You get some of those high-end places. If you ever seen some of those high-end stores, you notice they don't get a lot of people. But when they do get somebody in there, they gonna make a lot of money. That's it. That's what you gotta think about, You gotta think about. Like I was thinking, shit, something popped in my head, then popped right back out. But it's just several examples of that. People, if you really think about it, like a lot of smaller businesses or something like that, like all you need is a few hundred people. Like I said, that black bookstore, they say he just needed 100 customers a month who would buy something. And one thing about a niche market too, if you have a product or a service that people want again and again, you can make a lot of money. You can still make a lot of money because they keep coming back. Indeed, some of the larger corporations who got millions, even billions of customers, people using their stuff. What I heard from someone is like, when they advertising, they're not advertising to get new customers. They just advertising to keep their old customers. But once that market is there, you can always make money there. So, and it goes along with what I talked about, like your demographics and everything. So looking at certain niches, looking at certain subcultures, everything. Depending on what you have, you can still make a lot of money. Because depending on how much you sell it for, location, everything, you don't need a lot of people. But you do need the people within that niche. Always study it. What do they want exactly? Because if anybody in any niche, any subculture, small group, they still want different products. They still want different things. So anyway, I want y'all to think about that. And y'all know the deal. Let's go make that money.